Welcome to another Venus Fridays. We always love being here with you so much. Thank you for being with us. And we're starting this one on the pretty much on the day that we do this is the day that Hades, the asteroid Hades, is exactly conjunct Sirius. Now, we've been talking about Sirius a little bit in the last video. We'll be talking about it more because Venus and Jupiter are going to be exactly conjunct Sirius as we get to August, and uh, and they'll do it together at the same time. Like that doesn't happen very often. I actually researched it and couldn't find it in any recent time that Jupiter every 12 years in Cancer, and of course Venus goes through Cancer every year, but for them to come together near Sirius within the exact degree of Sirius, so rare. So Hades happen to be at 14, 25, 26 Cancer. Sirius is at 14, 25 Cancer as we begin this next couple of weeks. And if we think about Hades being the Greek version of Pluto, the underworld domain, the underworld realm, where we can die to who we think we've been so we can be reborn to who we really are, and to face the shadow, to transmute and transform the things that hold us back from being who we truly are. This feels pretty spectacular, and it's in the underworld time of Sirius. So I think I mentioned last time that Sirius is in with the sun not visible in the sky for 70 days. And it's interesting that the Egyptian funeral rites were 70 days in honor of Sirius being not visible. And when Sirius rose as morning star, that was when they knew it was that was the beginning of their new year, one, and two, the beginning of the flooding of the Nile, which brought life to the desert. So they saw Sirius as the star of giving life or life giver. So that's a pretty spectacular way to begin. And then from there, we'll jump right into Saturn going retrograde and Saturn in Aries, going back to Pisces, going back to Aries. We talked about this in the last video and how Saturn isn't most like Pisces, like Neptune, but it's doing that Aries Pisces dance. And so it helps us to see that looking at this Venus cycle as Aries Pisces, with Saturn and Neptune both doing the Aries Pisces dance into next year, so spectacularly confirming that we're on the right track.
And how amazing too that like we think of Saturn, right? Saturn is the planet that can really help us embody and bring in that mixture of Aries and Pisces, while it in particular is doing this dance, right? Of where's the place of me and I am meets and serves and protects the collective, right? And where does our internal healing, right? Our underworld healing, our shadow healing help serve us being our authentic selves, right? Saturn's the one that can really help us like do that like practical on the ground work that makes all the difference for us and the world that we live in. So I think it's pretty it's just all amazing how they're all so aligned and how Saturn really gives us an opportunity to do this like in the real world rather than just like a consciousness or an intellectual or a like esoteric kind of way.
Yes, I love this. And so the other thought that's coming up for me is whenever a planet is stationed, either retrograde or direct, doesn't matter what station it does, but this is, of course, to reverse direction. It's representing a still point. It's not moving. It's like just paused right there in the sky with whatever stars are around it, and just paused there. And so we have access to other realms, dimensions, um, levels of consciousness, stargates, portals. I don't know what we want to call it exactly, but it's like that still point place where we can access absolutely anything and everything. The unified field, perhaps, is another way to say that. They're both stationing so close together. I mean, days apart, but near the same degree. They're like 14 minutes apart. They don't make an exact conjunction at this point because they're stationing and going whatever, but they won't make that exact conjunction until February of 2026. However, they are so close. And so, what's the vision? What's the possibility? And how is Saturn helping us to bring that into form? How is the formless coming into form? And really in that close alignment with each other. So that's very exciting. And the other thing that's happening is July 17th or 18th, Mercury is going to go retrograde. And it's at 15 degrees Leo, which is the cross quarter point. Um, when the sun reaches 15 degrees Leo, it's the halfway point between the June solstice and the September equinox. And so here's Mercury going retrograde at that point. And that's also at a still point. So there's like three still points happening in the month of July. It's pretty amazing.
It is. And it's such a great thing to talk about Mercury retrograde because it's just one of those kind of like buzzword things in astrology that like mainstream culture is like glommed onto as being like, oh, all your technology is going to blow up. Everything's going to be like a mess, all communication, everything's going to break down. But for me, like Mercury retrograde can be this amazing creative time, right? This time that I can get out of like linear, like I think that's why it has that kind of bad rap because we're so linear and like I'm dependent upon my technology and if I have any little hiccup, it like makes me totally insane as opposed to like, okay, this is a time for me to move into that circular, psychical part of my thinking and my awareness. And that's where like all the creativity blooms. Like I have this kind of fantasy of like being able to take all the Mercury retrogrades off and just spend time like writing or making art or journaling, like really leaning into my creativity because it's so supported during Mercury retrograde. So this is something I look forward to, not fear or fret over.
Right. I agree with you 100%, maybe even more than 100%. But also know that there can be technical glitches and it's okay. And they usually work themselves out. It can
Yep.
be maddening at the time, but because it's getting us to maybe stop and feel into it in a deeper way. And also because Mercury has to do with communication and creative expression, and we're at the throat chakra gate when it's going retrograde of Venus, the throat chakra gate. So it's like, oh, how are we going to communicate to ourselves and each other in ways that are something that, that idea of what you heard is not what I meant.
Yeah.
I've had that experience way too often. It's like, that wasn't what I was saying. No, no, no. Like you misunderstood. And so to really be present with how we're communicating and what we're communicating and how we're creatively expressing who we are at this time. So that's pretty exciting.
It is. And then we save the best for last because Venus is then transitioning through into the heart chakra, right? So the moon will meet with Venus on July 21st, but it may
Yes.
be a little later in different parts of the world. I don't have the time right in front of me. Um, Oh yeah, it'll probably be on the 21st for like most of us, but maybe not you over there in Asia or in like Australia or something. But that Venus meets with the moon each month and we move through a different chakra gate. That's the gate, the opening following the Inanna story. And so now we move to the heart chakra and how perfect with like Mercury and Leo and Mercury will station direct in Leo, which is like another heart self-love, right? So big heart opening, clearing what's blocking our hearts, connecting into our divine feminine while in Gemini at this gate of this place of creativity more, right? There's another layering of that as well. So that's really exciting that this is the next gate, which is this incredible thing to see in the sky. It's so worth getting up because it is just an awe-inspiring sight to see that crescent moon with Venus in the sky.
And the thing is that because it's the waning crescent moon and it's coming down to where Venus is, you can see it for several days before it actually, it's like it might be way off over here, but that every day it gets a little closer till they finally meet with each other. And another thing I just want to bring in here is that Venus and Jupiter conjunction in August with the star Sirius is happening during the Heart Chakra Gate. We'll talk more about that later, but just like, wow.
Wow.
And Venus will be in the place in the sky. If you're up early enough, you might be able to see this, that it's between the horns of the bull constellation between, yeah. And that was something that was very significant to ancient cultures as well. So, very, very exciting times coming up.
Yeah. So thank you for being here with us. We love sharing these Venus Fridays with you, and we will see you next time. And blessings on your journey through from the throat to the heart chakra.
Oh, yeah.